Ross. I'm already finished high school doing the applying to art school process now, which I'm going for SVA. I was accepted once before, they didn't give me a scholarship, and they gotta pay me if I'm going there. So I've been coming to Ashcan in order to work on my portfolio and learn more about fine art. Previously, I was pretty much purely digital. I did grow up and spend many years with pencil, but once I discovered digital, I knew I wasn't going back. However, portfolios need variety, so painting self-portraits, I'm painting some still lifes, having me do pen drawings. Then I'm still trying to keep up with doing some digital pieces. My time at Ashcan has been more about getting comfortable with other mediums, and I think that is one of the more important things that I've done here, as well as learning more about perspective and light and shadow, which I really needed because I want to be a comic artist, and you will be nothing but a terrible comic artist if you don't understand how people and things move. The self-portrait is self-explanatory. It's a self-portrait. There's no tricky symbolism or crazy out there meaning behind it. It's my face. I like the way it turned out. I've never looked more beautiful. And take a look at that mug. In the process of making this self-portrait, I've learned how to do the texture of hair. I wasn't really sure how I was going to go about doing that when I started this project, but then I just realized it's simple little brush strokes over and over. I've also gotten a lot better at matching color. With a lot of previous projects, the colors could be a little bit off and it wouldn't make too much of a difference, whereas on someone's face, you'll see right away if something's wrong. That I had to improve on. I had to improve on facial structure and anatomy. I had a little help with that because I did use an original reference that I was working from. It also helped me better understand how the light bounces off specific parts of the faces, whether it's because it's pushed out more or because it's oily in that spot. So, number 1 of 2 still lives. This was an early one when I was first learning how to paint. It was good for helping me figure out, again, light, shadow, but also blending. I didn't understand how blending worked yet, how to make colors transition from one to another, and it was during this one that it just sort of clicked. That was the value of this. This was more understanding shadow and light again. This was actually against one of the back walls and cast along the side, so I had to figure out how to get the crisp edges but still gradient it out against the back while trying to keep sort of a desaturated look. So, since I mentioned before, I'm a digital artist. This is a small sample of the digital section. This piece was really helpful for getting used to trying to do sort of realistic hair, just because there actually is texture to it. With a lot of my more cartoony sort of style, there isn't a lot of texture and a lot of lighting changes, and this helped sort of nail down how I can have a bit of that realism in a more cartoonish style. With this one, this was just for fun. If you get the joke, cool. If you don't get the joke, that's fine. Lighting was also the big focus of this one. I also was trying to match someone else's art style, which I've never had to do before. I mostly got close enough, but if you know who made this original character, you know that I'm still far off. This was a poster that I presented at MochaCon last year for the comic series that I'm working on. It was sort of the first real digital painting that I did, whereas before it's just line work and then flat color. This helped a lot with learning blending in digital. And this was sort of supposed to be the part 2 to the first one that I did a year later. The improvement to me is very clear, a lot better anatomy, a lot better reflected light on a lot of parts here, better effects on lighting itself, just that stream across, better color balance with the greenish blue shadow and the orange red light. Something like that I wouldn't have known about before until learning the color wheel at Ashcan and just sort of trying to keep it in my head. This is one of the pages from that comic that's almost done. A lot of sort of trickier seeing how shadow would be cast on certain things when other things are in the way, and how the shape of the shadow would change and diffuse. So this is a story that I've come up with. I am developing the story. I'm almost done with the first book, and then we'll be on to the second, on to the third. It's never ending. It's a whole process. I'm a better storyteller than I am an artist, I hope. And that is why I'm choosing to go down this direction rather than being a fine artist, which will be a whole skill set I have to develop completely fresh. I forgot what my elevator pitch was. A staunch pacifist wants to be known as a hero, but you have to kill monsters to be a hero. That's the idea.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below to stay updated and for more tips on how to make a great art portfolio.